My name is Lindsay. I'm half British and half Macanese, which is a mix of Chinese and Portuguese. I have 2 passports and a bit of a mixed up accent. But one thing I know for sure is that Hong Kong is my home. Now, like me, my parents also grew up in Hong Kong. So as a young girl, they wanted me to experience the real Hong Kong and have a more authentically Hong Kong upbringing. So, as young children, they would take my brother and I out on boats to see Hong Kong's outlying islands, to see local fishermen and women drying their catch in the sun. They would take us to Dai Pai Dong, Hong Kong's outdoor eateries, to try some of the local delicacies. My favorite was always congee with 1,000-year-old egg. Groceries in our family were always bought from the local wet markets, where the live fish, chicken, and frogs never fazed me. My mum would always encourage me to speak as much Cantonese as possible with the market workers, and to learn all the names of the different fish and different cuts of meat. But as I grew up, I noticed more and more of these markets, these stalls, and the people that run them disappearing. Dai Pai Dong were closing down. Wet markets were being replaced by supermarkets. Shoe shiners were being cleared off the street to make way for new fancy shopping malls. And even the little old man who sold white decorative flowers from a paper tray around his neck was gone. And they were gone forever. It was then that I realized that I wanted to document these people, their industries, and their stories before it was too late. Because for me, they represented the real Hong Kong that my parents had referred to. As I started looking beyond Hong Kong's city skyline and the fancy facade that it's become so famous for, I discovered a whole host of these traditional industries and these artisans. And none of them were selling modern-day essentials like iPhones or wireless headphones or speakers. These were people handcrafting bamboo bird cages, bamboo dim sum steamers. These people were face threaders, knife sharpeners, fortune tellers, and more. To me, these were the people that my family had recognized from their childhood. These were the people that I recognized from mine. These people were running these sunset industries, as they're called, which are industries that are disappearing or fading away, like the sunset. Despite all the odds, despite the many changes that Hong Kong has gone through, they had persisted. So I decided to call them the Sunset Survivors. And to me, they represented the real Hong Kong and made this city so special and really contributed to its wonderfully unique cultural identity. I spent the next 3 years visiting different traditional artisans and craftsmen and women around Hong Kong to get to know a bit more about their industries and their stories. And I'd like to share a few of their stories with you today. Now, first up, I'd like you to meet Mr. Leung Lo Yik. Today, Mr. Leung sits shirtless and sweaty in a dark corner of the Yau Ma Tei Jade Market. Once in their hundreds, he is now one of just 6 remaining letter writers in the city. Letter writers were once in huge demand. In fact, in the 50s and 60s of Hong Kong, there was a literacy rate of just 60%. So there was a huge part of the population that relied on the assistance of letter writers to help them correspond with relatives, or friends or family overseas in mainland China or elsewhere. They also relied on letter writers to help them write employment contracts or applications for government welfare. And not just Hong Kong people, but even British sailors required the help of letter writers to help them write love letters for the women that they'd fallen in love with in Hong Kong soil. Mr. Leung tells me that he refused to write any sordid love letters between British sailors and local Hong Kong prostitutes, though. He assures me of that. Mr. Leung is originally from Vietnam, where he worked as an account secretary for Columbia Pictures. He came to Hong Kong in the 1970s to escape war in search of a better life, and he worked here as a bartender. He can speak 5 different languages. He speaks Vietnamese. He quickly picked up Cantonese and Mandarin after coming to Hong Kong. He taught himself English from reading the scripts that used to land on his desk at his old job. And he also speaks absolutely fluent French, being from Vietnam. So you can imagine my surprise when in the middle of this very traditional jade market in Hong Kong, there's this little old man hunched over a typewriter, speaking to me in French. He has never used a computer a day in his life and continues to use the 50-year-old typewriter that he's always owned, mainly because the carbon paper is much cheaper than any ink cartridge you would need for a printer today. As the number of illiterate people in Hong Kong decrease due to compulsory education and other factors, letter writers' work decreased too. Today in his 80s, Mr. Leung is well aware of the decline of his industry, and he rarely writes letters for anyone anymore. Most days, he simply reads the newspaper at his stall and passes the time. The government no longer issues licenses for letter writers in Hong Kong. Mr. Leung said to me, "It is essential for any society to improve with time. There must be some jobs that are replaced or even eliminated, and I think we are one of them." Now next up, I'd like to introduce you to Master Chan Lok Choi. Master Chan is the very last bamboo birdcage craftsman in Hong Kong. He started to make bamboo bird cages at just 13 years old. Today, he works in the Yuen Po Bird Garden in Prince Edward, surrounded by thousands of different types of birds and insects. It takes him roughly 2 months to build a bird cage from scratch. He has learnt to delicately bend each bamboo rod into place, to drill tiny holes in the base of the bird cage to fit the bamboo rods into. He paints them, engraves them. Each bird cage he makes is completely unique and handcrafted. He is a self-proclaimed perfectionist, he tells me. Of course, today, factories in China and elsewhere can produce these bird cages at a much faster rate. And they're much cheaper too than Mr. Chan's handcrafted version. Struggling with the competition so much, today he finds it very difficult to find anybody that asks him to build a bird cage. So mainly, he just helps people fix their bird cages rather than makes new ones. Most days, he says, he just goes to his stall again to pass the time and give him something to do with his life. Along with factories challenging Master Chan's work, he has also battled with the changing of cultural traditions. Whilst it used to be very common to see typically elderly Chinese men in Hong Kong's parks early in the morning, taking their birds for a walk in their cages, hanging them in the trees whilst they sit underneath reading a newspaper or playing mahjong. This tradition was largely dampened by a bout of bird flu in Hong Kong, and today, a lot less people wish to keep live birds in their home. Master Chan is incredibly proud to be Hong Kong's last birdcage maker. And whilst he was not sad that his own shop or he would pass away, he was most concerned that the art and the skill, the ancient practice of birdcage making, would be lost from Hong Kong forever. "I would love to have an apprentice," he told me, "but no one with a school education seems interested in learning these handicraft skills anymore." Now, the next person I would like to introduce you to is Master Aoyang Ping Chi, and his job might not be immediately obvious to all of you. He is, in fact, a paper effigy maker. Now, there's a common belief in Chinese religion that when someone close to you passes away, you can burn these paper recreations of real-life material objects, that they will be received in the afterlife as offerings and gifts to your deceased relative. Master Aoyang is the 4th generation owner of his family business and is incredibly proud of what he and his family does for a living. His job involves delicately banding bamboo rods, covering them in joss paper, painting them to make them look incredibly lifelike and incredibly alike to the real-life objects which they're imitating. Each effigy can take weeks to make and can cost thousands of Hong Kong dollars to buy. In the past, a simple pair of shoes, perhaps a mansion or a servant for the afterlife would suffice. But today, the majority of items that he gets requested to make are, you may have guessed it, iPhones, iPads, Gucci handbags, and Prada boots. These are the order of the day. And not just iPhones and electronics too, but even the chargers. Mr. Ao told me that he spent a lot of his time hand making these beautifully sort of papier-mâché iPhone chargers. With so many requests for iPhones and iPads, China's factories opened up to this market too and started producing not the beautifully crafted paper creations that Mr. Ao makes, but cardboard nets that you can fold into these objects, much quicker and much cheaper, of course. So today, Master Ao focuses mainly on the more unique and more intricate requests that he gets asked to make. In fact, he has made a life-size massage chair. He has made an electric guitar. He has made even a Nintendo game console, which you can see here. You can see how incredibly realistic and lifelike these objects are. In this picture, the game console on the left is real. The game console on the right is the paper recreation that Master Ao has done. So you can see just how incredibly realistic these objects look. After our chat about how materialistic the world had become, I asked Master Ao what he might want when he passes away. When I die, he says, I would like some cars, houses, and a hi-fi system. A super deluxe 7-foot-long Mercedes-Benz and Porsche will do. Whilst it made me chuckle, I also learnt that the main aim was to keep the deceased relative up to date with modern society, so that they didn't lose touch. So perhaps it made sense after all. So often we wait too long to appreciate things. It's often tragically only after the death of a grandparent that we come up with 1,000 questions that we'd wish we asked them. We can't force people to continue these age-old traditional industries. Their demise, like all things, is inevitable. Pushed out by rising rents, replaced by modern technology and a change of cultural beliefs, and the main thing, a total lack of willing successors. These industries will vanish from Hong Kong. Because, be honest, how many of you want to become birdcage makers and work very long days for minimal pay for the rest of your lives with your 14 years, with your 7 to 14 years worth of education? I would imagine very few of you. Even the people that I interviewed, the face threaders, the shoe shiners, many of them in their 80s and 90s, none of them wanted their children to follow suit. They were incredibly proud that their children had gone to school, had gone to university, and would not have to live the difficult lives that they had led. We're not losing Hong Kong culture. Hong Kong culture is all around us, but ever evolving. Hong Kong culture is everything from going for dim sum with your family, to crazy cab drivers, to modern buildings alongside ancient temples and ferries. It's knowing to hand your business card over with 2 hands and not 1. It's a place where burping out loud is completely acceptable in public. We're not losing Hong Kong culture. It's evolving. But certain parts are disappearing. So my message is this. Let's get out. Let's recognize, respect, and celebrate these old industries for their contribution to Hong Kong's unique cultural identity. I urge you to reconnect to old traditions, to explore your own city, and embrace your own culture and identity. Because to me, this is the real Hong Kong. not in a museum, not in a textbook, but right here, right now. So don't miss it. Thank you.